There's a way to not only expose it, but identify it and leverage it. And so in your conversation, when you have them follow you, a good question to plant within your conversation is saying, just out of curiosity, when you do lower your payment, what's your plan with the savings? And what they tell you after that is going to share with you exactly what they need. And it could be for various things. They could say, well, I need the savings so that I can use to pay off my credit card debt. That answer then becomes your bridge to expose what their real need is. And so you could say, okay, great. Well, how much do you currently send on your credit card debt? And then they'll say, well, I send about $500 per month. You see, the prospect is simply trying to find out how to lower their mortgage payment to offset that $500 payment in other debt. They're basically making room for their net income. But the only way that they can understand in lowering their mortgage payment is by asking for a lower rate. They have no idea there is another way. But it's not our job to jump in right away and start selling, because we can't go in for the kiss until we're ready. And so if we then use that as a bridge and say, okay, well, how much are you sending? I'm sending $500 per month on these credit card debts. Oh, got it. How much do you owe roughly? You see how this becomes funnel questions, and these questions are going to funnel you down to their deepest desire, the emotional state that's actually pushing their decision making to buy. It's going to expose their real reason as to why they're going to give you urgency and why they're going to follow you. They're going to say, well, I owe about 30 grand or 25 grand in credit card debt. Then you could say, okay, got it. So if you're sending $500, is that the minimum or is that above and beyond what's due? Now, the answer to that is again going to share with you their emotional state. If you've ever heard the saying, people buy with emotion, but then they justify it through logic. And so this method is going to share with you how to attach to that emotion by just that answer alone. So for example, if they say that I'm paying the minimum, then what you can do is say, right? You can almost change your tonality and stress that, there's something wrong with that. And then they're going to listen to you even more because, again, you're positioning yourself as a professional. You could say certain things like, okay, well, let me see if I can help you first. When you pay that $500 per month and it being that minimum, how much do you have left when all your bills are paid? Then they're going to tell you a specific number, and that number is tied to the emotion that they're trying to relieve. You see, people take actions typically to find gain, like find pleasure, or they make decisions based on avoiding pain. So when we understand how their train of thought is, because that's not like ours, $100 to us could be completely different as opposed to $100 to them. Our job in the initial sales conversation is just to understand their thought process, understand their ties to money, understand where their more or less their fears are and where they perceive that their gain or their value is going to be. And we could do that by asking these particular questions. So if you're not writing those questions down, or if you're not asking these particular questions in your sales conversation, you're not positioning yourself to be the one who has the solution. But anyway, if we go back and we say, how much net income do you have left? Okay, I got about maybe $1,000 left in net income. Got it. And so with that $1,000 that you have left over, where do you put it? And they're going to say, we keep it in the bank. Now this becomes a bridge to ask a very personal question. Okay, so if you have $1,000 in surplus per month, how much do you have currently built up in your checking and savings? You're now allowing yourself to ask that question, and it's all based on these questions.